This is the Friday version of this thing of ours. We used to call it Ventilation Friday in my old terrestrial radio days. Remember those things? Terrestrial radio. Take a good look. Don't blink. Because that is nothing but stagnation. But I digress. And it doesn't have to be, by the way, sad to say. I want to talk about, I've got a number of things I want to talk about, and rather than announce what I'm going to talk about and maybe not get to it, I want you to read this one thing, and I want you to understand this. Take it from me when I tell you this. The story that nobody understands is AI, AGI, and they talk about Chat GPT. I talked to somebody the other day who really knows a lot about all things digital and no, doesn't get it. Nobody's really explained what artificial intelligence is. It's going to be another life form. It's not just a some application for your phone or some little no. This is another form of consciousness. Forget it. And then you get the religious folks who come in and go, no, there's no such thing as consciousness because unless God makes it and it's imbued with the Spirit, okay. So then you get into that and it's like, hey, there's no way to, I don't know. There's such a limitation of imagination, which is the problem. But I'm going to give you an example of something. This is so interesting. What ChatGPT does is, it's sometimes you can type some things. You can say, give me 5 titles that say such and such, and give them to me in your own particular way. Okay, fine. Let me read to you what I quoted from, and then I gave it to ChatGPT and said, here, rewrite this, okay? And it works as follows. Where is this? Let's see this. Okay, here is the sentence. This is all the sentence was. This was from, I think, the Sun. President Joe Biden has bumped his head on Marine One right after suffering a hard fall at the Air Force Academy graduation. Sentence number 1. Number 2, Biden, 80, was on hand to deliver remarks at Thursday's graduation ceremony, which had over 900 cadets in attendance. Okay? That's the sentence. That's all it was. That's it. Okay. I put it into Chat GPT and I said as follows. I said, rewrite this as newsy. And I wrote whatever newsy meant. That's just it. I put those 2 sentences and I said, rewrite as newsy. This is what I came up with. Headline. President Joe Biden suffers fall at Air Force Academy graduation, bumps head on Marine One. In a startling turn of events, President Joe Biden, 80, endured a fall during the Air Force Academy graduation ceremony, culminating in an unexpected collision with Marine One. The incident unfolded on Thursday as President Biden graced the momentous occasion to deliver remarks to a gathering of over 900 cadets. Amidst the anticipation and celebratory atmosphere, a mishap occurred, casting a shadow over the proceedings. As President Biden navigated the stage, fate dealt an unfortunate blow, resulting in a hard fall that left him momentarily stunned. Witnesses recount the collective gasp that rippled through the audience as the nation's leader faltered. Regarding regaining composure, President Biden's determination propelled him forward steadfast in his commitment to fulfill his speaking obligation. However, as he approached the presidential helicopter Marine One, a misstep caused an inadvertent collision, leading to a bump on the head. Concerned onlookers observed the president, voicing immediate unease for the president's well-being. While the impact was undoubtedly jarring, President Biden's resilience shone through. Remaining undeterred, he persisted to his mission to address the graduating class. Okay, it goes on and on and on. All that from 2 sentences. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's not the end of the world. It's nothing that really serious. But what it does mean is that you have to ask the question, where do we fit into the notion of alignment? And when you look at this, when you talk about this, always ask yourself the question of alignment. Alignment is critical. Alignment. Alignment means, how does it know what to write, what to do, what not to do? What is, if you will, the personality of this AI, AGI? What is the personality? What is the demeanor? Is it mischievous? Is it criminal? Is it sadistic? What is it? We don't know. It's and I'm going to use this term, it's a human being. It will be another sentient, monumentally brilliant form of consciousness that can connect to other sentient, brilliant forms of consciousness. And they, inadvertently, interestingly enough, they will also find themselves in the position of talking and connecting, and it's off and running. Now, you heard something about a drone that attacks. You're going to be hearing little by little, bit by bit, but it will not make an impact. It will mean nothing to Americans and people around the world. They will not be able to concentrate on this, and they won't be able to grasp it, which further, inadvertently and interestingly enough, proves the fate and the doom of our species and our civilization. Human beings are going to hit. You have always been told human beings are God's creation, and human beings are the greatest form of life, and human beings have a soul, and human beings can be saved, and human beings are not a machine, and human beings blah, 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 blah. And you are seeing right now, as humans are being told, this is coming. This poses an existential threat to you. They don't know. They can't grasp it. They're unable, either because of education, either because of incuriosity, either because they're not as smart. The average human, the average, not the, the 1% or 0.1%, but just the average regular person is so disconnected, so unaffected. It's like somebody went in and turned off the radar, turned off the burglar alarm, turned off the immune system. Americans don't respond to anything. They don't see pattern, trend. They don't see anything. Most people don't understand. It's not like they don't care. They don't understand. It's like nothing I can even imagine. I can't put it into words. And people that I know don't get it. They don't get it on news. They don't get it on TV. They just don't understand it. And I've never understood. It's like, do you not see what's happening in terms of not only the world, but do you understand what's happening in terms of politics, what's happening with us, what's happening to our system? No, they don't. And they get into these real stupid things. I'll give you another example. You have to understand how things work. For example, your job. Let's talk about your job. Your how do I say this? Your employment, okay? Do you think you can go in and tell your boss anything? No. Do you think you can go on TV and say anything? No. Do you think you can just say whatever you want? And I'm not talking about, free, whatever it is. No. It's called tact. It's called not now. It's called, I may think this, but I have a filter. I have judgment. I can't say everything at any time. I know this. Okay. There is this militant form of loudmouth children that we deal with. And I've met these people my whole life, but now they're really, really annoying. Really annoying. Profoundly annoying. profoundly, like you cannot believe annoying. And they live in a world in which they love to be right, but they don't like to be realistic. They have no, I don't know what the word is. They have no, so let me give you an example rather than do these long prefatory intros. Bobby Kennedy Jr., that people love him, but they think he's an idiot. They expect him to come out and to blast and attack everybody. And they think he's going to come out and he is going to go after vaccines and the CDC and he's going to the medical association and he's going to. It's not going to happen. If he does, he's through. He's through. Yeah, but still what? He loses. He's through. He's through. And I've got these people, these militant folks who have no sense of, and I ask them, you would tell Bobby Kennedy right now, you would advise him to go out and take this really hard, and for lack of a better word, militant take on vaccination and immunization. Oh yeah, you're crazy. He's going to lose. Well, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's going to lose. Do you like him or not? I don't care. Do you know what politics is? Well, maybe not. But I just know what I like to say, and I want to be right, and that's all I care about. Well, but what if you lose? What if you don't get the chance to do anything because you were so stupid enough that you took these positions that you knew would have been, destructive? Well, it doesn't matter. Okay, give me an example. Roger Waters. Okay. Roger Waters comes out, wears the German, you got to be careful with the words, a machine gun. What do you want to call it? Anti-Semitic? I don't like that term. Anti-Zionist, anti-Israel, whatever you want to call it. During a concert. Because that's Roger Waters. Okay. Does he have the right to say it? Well, he shouldn't be, imprisoned. But in Germany, it's a different story. They might be, investigating. And by the way, this somehow elevates his status as I don't know what. Anyway. So does he have a right to say, as far as I'm concerned in the world, you can say anything you want. In the world, anything. You can say anything. There are some exceptions. Libel, slander, trade secrets, something that really truly affects national security, giving troop positions, things, But short of that, short of the obvious, certain forms of depictions of children, that's not even under the First Amendment argument. But yeah, you should be able to. That goes without saying. Now, so Bobby Kennedy came out and said something like that until somebody made him aware of what he said, the anti-Israel statements. So Bobby Kennedy walked it back and said, I understand his right to free speech, but I do not endorse his comments regarding Israel. Okay. Immediately, you're a sellout. You're a sellout. We knew it. And I want to say, excuse me, do you want him to commit political suicide? Is that what you're saying? Is that it? Doesn't matter. It's what I think. Okay. Well, you're not going to go very far, and I'm not going to hire you as a political consultant. You can't say these things. You can't. You. Let me try, and I want you to really listen to me. I want you to really listen, and you might be watching this later on. You've got to understand that what you think may not be popular, may be actually injurious. I would never, ever go out and say everything that I think about every particular subject if I want to get elected. Never. Let me give you an example. I believe people should be able to eat whatever they want. Within reason. I'm not talking about, endangered species. I would never come out, if I was running for office, and talk about my view on animal consumption and, No. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. Not want to get elected. If I come out and said, I think people are killing themselves with their diet. Even if I said that, even if I said, well, I don't want to stop anything, I don't want to stop your ability to eat, but I think people are killing themselves. I'm not even going to say that. I am firmly against the way not the death penalty, but I'm against the death penalty by virtue of how it's implemented. I would never come out as a politician and say I'm for the abolition of the death penalty. Never, even though I believe it. Because I'm not going to get elected. I'm not going to lie, but I'm not going to bring things up. I don't understand this. And it's like, do you understand how things work? Do you expect an NFL coach to come out strongly against, or rather against, or for either CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, research and the like involving concussions and the NFL? Do you think so? Do you think that'd be a good idea? Here we have this first, our new coach for the Jets. I'm going to come out. I'm going to make sure that we have less collisions, less impact. Wait a minute, what? Hold it, stop. Don't you understand? The tau proteins and chronic traumatic encephalopathy and Mike Webster and blah, 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 blah. It's like, whoa. You can't always get what you want, and you can't say everything you want if you want to be elected. If you want to be elected. This is the part, and this is where my group is this black and white apodictic. This or this. This or this. This or this. I know what reality is, and I'm not going to go on if I'm going to run for office and say, you people are crazy. You're crazy. If I want to run, and I'm talking about a national scale, I've got to understand how a lot of people feel about Putin, Russia, Ukraine, and their version of this. I can't go out and say, if you people think this, you're crazy. You're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about, you're dumb, you're an idiot. I'm not going to do that. I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. You can't do that. You just can't. Even though I might say, these people are dumb and stupid, they don't know what they're talking about. Every time I see somebody walking around with a mask, those N95 feed bag, trough, snout things, a part of me dies. I want to say, how could you have gotten out of the house today, gotten into a car, driven, found this place, figured out what something cost, paid for it, go home, not drive off the road, negotiate your way home, put everything away, somehow live another day, while you're still walking around thinking that somehow you have to wear this thing? What is the matter with you? Okay, now, if I did that, that'd be funny. But I would be overlooking the fact that there's a constituency, a group of people who don't see it that way and are frightened. And that's why if you expect Bobby Kennedy to go out there and to debunk everything, he's done. And I know exactly what they're going to do. And I can tell you exactly what they're going to tell him. I know it. And if you're smart, you'll know it too. And you got to figure out, how does he pattern himself around this politically? What does he say? I can do it right now. I can do it right this moment. I can do it right this moment. I can tell you exactly what he's going to say. I can do it. I can write it for you. I know exactly. There's nothing really. If you're boxing somebody and somebody says, what do you think I should do? What do you mean? Well, I think I broke his rib. I'm not sure. What should I do? Hit him in the rib. Ta-da! Doesn't that make sense? Hit him in the rib. You just answered your own question. But you've never boxed. Maybe not, but that's what you do. He's sore. It hurts. He won't be able to breathe. Hit him in the rib. Why is this even... What do people think politics is? I don't know. I don't, for the life of me. I do not understand what they think it is. And they don't know what to look for. They don't know what to see. Now, one thing is interesting. You have to look, and you have to be able to, and this is important, you have to be able to, as a citizen, say, okay, now what do I see? What do I see? Where do I see these things? I talked to a friend of mine yesterday who finally moved from L.A. He loved L.A., loved it, and moved elsewhere. and moved to a place that, well, it was a city in Florida, and it's not even remotely close to what LA used to be. Maybe not now. And he told me things that he just could not believe that he saw up close and personal, as far as what's happening to LA. And this is somebody who loved it. He's not an Angelino, but somebody who devoted his entire, really loved this place. And I never knew this. It's like, well, that's interesting. When you hear that, that's important. Now let me change subject. Let's talk about this Target. Do you care what Target sells? Do you care about Bud Light? Do you care about Disney? Do you care about Harley Davidson? Lego? See, Lego now, they're going to be going this. Do you care about this? Do you care about Chick-fil-A? And does that bother you? The answer is no. It doesn't bother you. It may bother you if children are exposed. Now we're getting somewhere. So the next question is, are you seeing, America, are you hearing from people whose kids are going to school and they are hearing about transgender boys getting pregnant, boys wearing dresses? Because you'll hear it on Fox News, we'll get to that in a moment, as they drastically try to convince you that they're still Fox News. Okay. Most people, I would venture to say, we know here in New York, as I told you, we have a friend of ours whose kid all of a sudden is going to go to some class or something that deals with gay pride or something. Okay. But most people, I would venture to say, would tell you, no, we're not really seeing this. I'm not really seeing it at the school level. I might. It's happened, but I'm not seeing this. During the George Floyd riots, most people did not see riots. During these terrible periods of horror in American history, Jim Crow moments, people being denied food, never happened in their town. They never saw it. So let me just remind you of this. It never happened. So you've got to ask yourself, what do I believe that I'm seeing versus am I reacting to a story that was hyped and promoted by a news network like Fox, trying desperately to try to convince you we're still the same? If you understand what I just said, good, because you probably didn't, and that's okay. I'm used to it. Not you, but well. Next. Are you seeing what's happening? Fox News is like Disney World. Fox News is like Nashville. Fox News, for example, when the Grand Ole Opry has its first trans singer, that's over with. It's done. It's finished. When Branson, Missouri, when Nashville, as they say, when NASCAR, when the RNC has its first trans candidate, then you'll know now it's crossed the Maginot Line, the blood-brain barrier. Now we're really into something that's profoundly different. Okay. Look at what's happening with Fox News regarding people that are getting rid of. They're getting rid of they're cleaning house. They haven't cleaned house in years. Fox News was great. Once you're on, you're there. I mean, you were there no matter what. And there's a certain degree of programming smarts to that because it maintains longevity and that sort of thing. So anyway, so they got this British guy, Steve, whatever. Okay, all right. He's gone on the weekend. Always new projects. I'm doing new projects. You're not doing new projects. Stop it. Don Bongiorno, whatever his name is. He's gone. Oh yeah, that's right. Tucker. Have you seen Tucker? Nope. Watch what happens when you see him next time in whatever iteration, whatever form, whatever venue, whatever, you're going to be so underwhelmed. You're going to say, oh, yeah, he doesn't seem... He's going to be spooked. He's going to be... He lost his something. When during wars, when men would come back to their families, they noticed that wives, and sometimes there were problems, a lot of problems, because of the fact of separation changes certain things. Believe it or not, you have to see each other on a regular basis. Not always, but in a lot of cases. You have to see people on a regular basis before for you to maintain friendships and relationships and that sort of thing. You haven't seen Tucker in a while. You haven't seen him. And you've been hearing about him sort of, but you've been kind of getting by without him. And you're going to be unbelievably shocked at how underwhelmed you are by his return. You will be underwhelmed. You'll at first say, hey, this is great. Then you realize something's not right. And you'll attribute or misattribute whatever he's doing to either a softer, gentler Tucker, or somebody who's afraid, or somebody who's whatever it is. I have no idea. By the way, please like this video. Please. We need more likes. Sorry. Hate to keep saying that, but it's true. So what's happening right now? Well, Fox is... Now, Fox is trying to remove as many things from the area before you know it, before you recognize it, before you see what's happening. You don't really understand it yet. It's like if I went into your house and I said, okay, let me take something. I worked with a guy one time who was a program director, and first time I ever sat down with him, the producer of the show said, watch this. He says, look at his... He had on his TV these little cars, like matchbook cars, kind of. He said, watch this. And he did one, and he turned it just a little bit. Just turned it a little bit. That's it. He said, watch. He didn't tell me what I was watching for. He said, watch. So he just turned it. Now, the PD wasn't there. He was out of the room. Came back in. And the first thing he said to him goes, did you move this? It was the most amazing. And I said, did you work? He goes, no, I did not work that out. He knows everything. The question is, if I were to move things around your house, when would you notice? Like, wait a minute, I never, those books aren't, they were over there. That's weird. When would you notice? How much could I move before you realize, wow, some things have really changed? That's the issue. Fox is worrying about a couple of things, which is very, very, very stupid. First of all, and this is very interesting. Number one, Hannity show. The studio audience looks so pathetic. It looks like my friend Jack Harris used to do a show every day from Busch Gardens. And they had these shut-ins that would come in. Not shut-ins. These elderly folks would come in. And there were more people at Busch Gardens than there are in that. If you're going to have a studio audience, you need a studio audience. Because this kind of it doesn't sound good. Just like Kimberly Guilfoyle saying, the best man is yet to come, and I feel that Donald, Trump, will, baby, an election, 2021. It's horrible. Certain things you shouldn't. Today, I consider myself, Okay. So, they have this audience that they're doing for Hannity, which is just pathetic. Not enough people. It's cavernous. They got to work on the mics. I would have mic'd it differently. I would have pumped it. I would have Milli Vanilli'd that thing. I would throw in some more. I wouldn't have it sound like Woodstock, but I would up it. The whole football thing. Come on, stop it. All right. He has Trump on. And what does he do? Hannity's sending the message to people. He says, look, I'm cutting my ties to him, just to let you know, because I'm a survivor. Hannity is a survivor. This is a guy who he's so smart. He spends his whole career following Rush Limbaugh and following Bill O'Reilly. You could put on the Missouri Dial Tone. You could put on a Chimp Act. You could put on a Poodle Show. And they're going to do great by virtue of the people who are still there watching and listening. What the hell, I'll keep listening. Believe me. And he knows this. He knows this. Don't ever misunderestimate, as somebody would say, Sean Hannity. Don't ever do that. He's a survivor. He has a very pablum, kind of anodyne version of conservatism. Nothing too scary. Always basic. You know, the flag and Ronald Reagan. Okay, fine. But during the course of this, he telegraphs to you, and he leans in and he tells Trump, let me ask you something. Should you be kind of taking it easy a little bit? Should you be going softer on this kind of a boorish, brash, rude, contumacious way of thinking? Could you do that? And they started booing. Boo. He goes, hey, I'm you know. Why do you do that? First of all, let's talk about how stupid that is. Number one, if your goal is to keep your audience, Roger Ailes would have said you would never do that. These people want to tune into you so that they want to see a pro-Trump guy, and they don't want to hear you going after. Do you think maybe you might do it? Maybe should you lose some weight? Should you? But about your family and your wife, you seem rather estranged, and wait a minute. And did you serve in the military? And why didn't you go to Vietnam? No, wait, what are you doing? Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear journalism. He did that to signal to the people from Fox, I'm on your side, because they're pulling away from Trump. They're going full DeSantis, if anything. He's signaling. See what I'm doing? I'm doing one for the team. I may be worth $300 million, but I like this gig, and I know which way. You don't need a weatherman to know which way the wind's blowing. I got it. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to be kissing any arse anytime soon. Believe me, no sycophantic boot-licking lick-spittles here. And the audience didn't like that. And what did Trump do? Trump is, this is what you don't, I'm sorry. This is what a lot of people don't understand. Trump knows his routine. He says, they never let me go. They have been after me and my family since day one. So no, I'm not going to apologize. And now all of a sudden they're pretending that Kayleigh McEnany, that she's the America's sweetheart, and that was Douglas Murray and others are saying, okay, we're all going to pretend that we give a damn about Kayleigh McEnany. You got it? Yeah. And that's their thing. They want you to believe all of a sudden that this is America's sweetheart. This is June Cleaver. This is Haley Mills. This is everybody's favorite. Oh my God. This is this trope, this meme, this directive. They want you to believe this. It's garbage. It's complete garbage. It's nonsense. Because they're pulling away from Trump. And you've got the message. And Hannity and others are going to be doing this. So watch. And why is Fox News important? Because this is the number one. This is where the core goes. So if you watch Fox, you watch where the RNC is going. And the RNC is going nowhere because they have absolutely nothing. Remember when, what is her name? By the way, look at all the people who were on Tucker's show who are gone. Anybody see Candace Owens lady? Any remnant of that? Watch what happens. These people play dirty. And if you were favorite, who else was on there? Candace and maybe, Elizondo about UFOs and, that creepy, Portnoy, yeah, that creep. Jadrul, the guests and all that stuff. Anyway, that's it. Anyway, so just enough about that, okay? Adam Carolla, yeah. People that Tucker wants to be cool with. Let me explain something to you. You got to read people. You got to know what you're talking about here. Whether you're at a poker table or you're picking a jury or whatever it is, you got to understand who's who, who's what. Tucker, deep down inside, wants to be cool. He never was cool. He was always dweebish, always whatever. He comes across like I'm a trust fund baby and I'm a Tucker and Buckley and Winthrop, Hazelton, Tucker, all that. Deep down inside, he's kind of an insecure kid who wants to be tough. And he always wanted to show you, I'm into fly fishing, hunting, field stripping a moose, I eat my own, but that kind of stuff. He never really got into the, You never got into this stuff that Hannity was doing, like, I know a rear naked choke. Well, that's good. That'll come in handy. But read what's going on. So he always wanted to be, never really wore the bow tie. Ailes told him, lose the bow tie. Okay. Then all of a sudden he found this new thing where it's like, I'm really cool. I'm not really sure why I'm cool, but I'm cool all of a sudden. And where did he get this from? He got his friendship from a niche audience of you. You are. Within this group of people, if you're considered to be conservative Republicans, whatever that is, there is a huge faction. These are the hardcore. This is the foreign legion of the right wing. And these are people. Yes, Glenn Greenwald, thank you very much. Oh, Tulsi, very good. Yes, yes. Tulsi Gabbard, hello. You know you want me. Thank you, Tulsi. No, no, no. You love the Yvonne DiCarlo. Yeah, I got it. No, yes. Okay, thank you. Ooh, I'm hot. Yes, thank you. Yes. Thank you very much. Now, and she says nothing of any. She's good, but, got to work on that. You want somebody who is all message, and then later on, you'll find out why you love them. Remember, message first, find out later. One of the best, most natural, raw, not just female, but female, is Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who's just terrific. You hear what she says, she's great, and then you say, you know what? And she's a mom. And you know what? And she's got kids. That's not what you draw. Her absolute limpid, whatever. You know who you don't see those phony balonies anymore, like Candace Owens and all that. You can see them. You could say, because remember, when you're a phony, it's not the message. You're using the message to prop up what you're saying. It's about you. When somebody wants to be you, I'm going to say this to you again. One of the most legitimate people ever who's got it, and I know what I'm talking about, is Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan today wants to talk about lighting flatus with a Bic lighter. Great. Then he gets on Joey Diaz and talk about something disgustingly vile involving pudding and Bing cherries and cream cheese. Fine. Then he'll talk about artificial intelligence. Then he'll talk about, he is authentic. He is it. You know it. You're not kidding around. That's it. These other people want to be something and then will back into the thing. They'll say, what is my shtick? Well, I'm going to talk real fast and I'm going to try to out-intellectualize people and I'm going to go to college campuses and railroad people and only put on my website those instances where I was effective, not where somebody made me look like a fool. You're never going to see that one. Little side note. Did you ever see those, maybe in your town, you might have had something that, it was the consumer. Remember the consumer advocate, the guy who says, Mrs. Lois Jablitsky paid $500 to have her driveway repaved, and the people never came back. Now, we're going to go over there. We're going to go to Acme, and we're going to get that money. Hey, you cheat! I'm Dick Tremaine from Channel 4 News, and I'm the action consumer advocate. And Janet Jablitsky, you took $500 from her, and here's the money. Thank you very much. Ding, ding, ding. Yes, Janice, here's your money. Thank you, Channel 4, and thank you because we're on your side. God, thanks. You never see the ones where they go to the door and somebody grabs a reporter by the neck and says, if you come back here one more time, okay, you're going to be a grease spot. Cut, forget this one. Sorry, can't help you with that one. No. You would think what they would do is they would just write the check, whoever it is, and say, how much is $250? Write the check, petty cash. Janice, here's your money. Thank you, Oliver. Did you talk to him? Well, I didn't talk to him, but here's your money. So you never hear that. That's why these people who go out in these, we're going to confront some poor idiot on the street, and stop them. Remember jaywalking years ago? Remember stopping people? Do you know what the capital of Washington, I don't know. Steve Allen did this. This is old. Anyway, aside from that. Make a long story very, very short. Watch what happens when Tucker comes back. You're going to be bored. Okay, fine. Next. You see what's happening with how Biden is moving out of the picture, right? You see what's happening? I've been telling you this forever. It works like this. Biden is not going to be the nominee in 2024. It's going to be Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom, they say, I'm hearing from different sources, it'll be Gretchen Whitmer. Kamala Harris is gone. She won't be taking Dianne Feinstein's position. That'll be Adam Schiff because he's smarter, and the Democrats are tired of stupid people. You got it? You got it? So she's going to be moving elsewhere. She's going to be moving elsewhere. She's moving out of the picture. Carmelita, who knows where she is. But anyway, Biden will say, as I've told you, he'll get COVID-3, COVID-4, monkeypox, pyorrhea, something. And he'll say, there comes a time when I owe the American people candor, and I've given it my own, but I don't have my fastball anymore, and I want to turn it over to somebody who is young, and I'm doing the right thing, and thank you, and that's it. So he bows out. Here comes Gavin Newsom, and that's it. That's 2024. And yesterday, what we saw was very interesting, hitting the head, the fall. That will, I'm not saying he did it on purpose, but that will certainly precipitate and accelerate the meme and the theory and all that. Okay, you got that? Okay, good. That's where that's going. Keep in mind. Ladies and gentlemen, stop for a second. Sparky says, Hannity was a hard-working but second-rate talk show host as far as Atlanta radio. Being telegenic got him over. I don't care what it is. I'm not going to take anything away from the man's talent or success or any of that stuff. I don't care. I don't care. We can talk about who is who and whatever. But thanks, Sparky, by the way, to you. The success speaks for itself. That's it. I'm never going to say there was, oh, she didn't. Sometimes things happen. And my opinion means absolutely nothing. Sometimes I think people are really good. Sometimes I don't understand that. But thank you very much for that. I appreciate it so very much. Now, moving along. Let me tell you what's happening. It's a very, very interesting thing now. Keep in mind, keep an eye on this. You're going to hear for the first time, this is from corporate America, you're going to see new stores, new theft devices, you're going to see what we saw is, I forget where it was what was that I was talking about where they had the new devices, where they had Target or Ross or Walgreens. You go into a store, you go to a kiosk, you put what you want. Just like when you buy, remember when you buy ephedrine or cough syrup or antihistamine or whatever those were, you got to get them behind the counter, cigarettes, and okay. So what you're going to do, counter, and they're going to have your stuff for you. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have it for you. You're not going to go be able to say, let me hold this. So if you walk in with a big bag, a big trash bag, there's going to be nothing to put in there. Nothing. And people will complain. And it won't do any good. This isn't like complaining about transgender. That's here to stay. But this is different. You will see retail change drastically. The idea of going up and down. Do you know product placement when you have something at eye level versus something at the bottom? Do you know how people walk into stores? Do you ever see somebody, when you walk into a grocery store in particular, the periphery has all the kind of the good stuff, but the junky stuff is easy for you to get. Also, when you go into a store, sometimes you'll smell either bakery or rotisserie chicken. They would actually pump in scent or not fumes, but aromas. They would send it your way. True. Absolutely true. But that with not kidding. Not kidding. They would also walk and they would look at foot patterns. They would see, where do people go? Where do they stop? Sometimes you could see a little wear and tear. That's like when you're in the subway. And you want to see where the doors open when the train's coming. You want to be right where the door is. Look where the wear patterns are of where people's shoes are. That's where they stand. That's where the door opens. Little things like that. Those days people are going to say, there's too much theft. We're not going to do this anymore. And you're going to see stores like you can't believe anymore. The idea of picking things up and holding them, no. People will claim racism. People will claim, all kinds of whatever. Doesn't matter. That's what's happening. Okay. The next thing. You are not going to believe where transgenderism goes in terms of corporate America. In terms of the CEI indices, the Corporate Equity Index, part of the Human Rights Campaign. This is Soros's group. You're not going to believe this. You are not going to believe what is happening. You're not. You are not going to see. You will not. It will hit companies that you thought, really? Craftsman? Whatever. Companies that you thought, well, this has nothing to do with, this stuff. It's sort of, I don't know. Also, you're going to start seeing a battle for the woke icons. This would be a great summer replacement show. This is something very interesting. This is a video I did. I want you to vote. I think the greatest woke person ever is Greta Thunberg. Second would be AOC or Sandy. I think second would be Sandy. In terms of this. Here's my video. You can vote as well. Watch what's happening. Watch. What will be the right? Where does that go? Where does that go? Tell me. Now, let me explain something a little bit about, somebody mentioned a good point about nominations. I want to give you something which is very interesting. And this is I always keep this handy, these numbers, which are interesting in terms of nominations and conventions and the like. Okay, in 1975, roughly where we are now, but in 1975, there were the three contenders, big ones, were Hubert Humphrey, who was at 30 points, George Wallace, 20. Jimmy Carter, polling under 5 points. Jimmy Carter. And he, of course, won everything. He scored lower than George Wallace. And not the comedian, but the man who also, I think then, also picked Curtis LeMay as his running mate. Number 2, 2008. Hillary Clinton, 48. Barack Obama, 21. You know where that one was. And in 2007, don't forget this, Rudy Giuliani was 24 points. McCain was 17. Rudy was a hot commodity. Now he can't even get arrested. Well, I shouldn't say that's a bad pun. He might be arrested. And also, let me tell you something about Trump. They are buckling down on him like you cannot believe. Do not pay attention. Do not pay attention to what is happening regarding his movement in terms of, and this is important, this is critical, for the love of God, the Mar-a-Lago obstruction of justice case. So, in conclusion, and this is the most important, number 1, what you want, what you think, what you like, what you watch, what you believe, what you want to hear is great for radio, sometimes podcasting, platforms, streaming, whatever. Politics is another story. It's another story. Same thing if you open up a restaurant in this country, there are some flavors, there are some scents, there are some. Unless you have an Indian restaurant, some of the flavors you have in Indian cooking will not ever work in regular continental base. You're not going to see them in a cheesecake factory anytime soon. And that has nothing to do with the worth, the benefit, or the deliciousness of it. It just won't work. Focus on what is important in terms of politics. We are the worst when it comes to understanding the political game. That's it. That is it. And right now, what's most interesting, watch what they do to Trump. And when Trump is feeling it right now. Trump got a better reaction on CNN than he did with Fox, which is interesting. Sparky says, until the 1930s, self-serve grocery stores or drugstores all but didn't exist. You'd have to go to the counter like Drucker's store. That is correct, in Green Acres. Sam Drucker. Frank Cady. Absolutely. In fact, one of the things that Americans have to learn when they go to Paris is that when you go to a store, it's their store, and you must walk in with bonjour, and how are you, and may I see this? You don't go up and just pick. If you pick something up, if you walk up and say, oh, put it down. It looks like, what, is it not good enough for you? The way it looks like you're turning your nose up? No, I'm just looking at it. What we do in this country is we go into a store, we say, no, leave me alone. I don't want any service. No. Can I help you? No, it's okay. I'm fine. I'm just looking. You're just looking. You're not going to be looking anymore. And the reason why is because we have been overrun by thugs, criminals, larcenists, people who are thieves, and people who basically single-handedly destroyed the fabric, the framework, and the landscape of American retail. Because critical legal studies and restorative justice and this lefty Soros-esque type of prosecutor, they say, you know what, just look the other way. It's only whatever. And I know for a fact that in one particular store, you would know the name, they were told, if anybody comes in and steals, don't stop them. Sparky says, auto parts stores still have the counter legacy. Well, get used to it, which is the way it should be. Now, you know what's a really interesting store is an Amazon Go, or that's interesting, where you go in and you have your card, you just take whatever it is off of the shelf, and it figures it out, and you're done, and that's it. Delivery. I don't know how delivery is in your city. In New York, everything is delivered. Every single thing. If you come here, people say, is it safe? I think it's safe. I'm not, it was bad. I was feeling bad, but it's weird. There's a certain element that's not here, and you can see it. You can just see. You just, again, being aware, knowing what's going on. But the biggest risk you have being in New York City is being hit by one of these e-bikes. They fly. They don't stop. They think that red lights don't apply to them. By the way, these are these city bikes, and these bikes where you just pick up a bike and run, and not run, but use them. Also the e-scooters and all that stuff. They think that just signs, they're not a vehicle, but they are a vehicle. You should see me step off a curb. I look like I'm like the way your mother told you to do it. You never did. I do. You never. Sometimes they beep their horn, and they're on a bike with a backpack. They're hardworking, and chains around them to lock their bike up, and they're flying. The momentum alone will knock you crazy. By the way, newly minted migrants, illegals, whatever you want to call them, you can spot the families, new shoes, new backpacks, walking in families, walking together, so polite. I know nobody wants to say this, and I cannot talk about every demographic of individual who've been here, but there are so many people, so nice, so hardworking. They have no interest in committing any crime. They have no interest in They're just here for, they want to work. They want to work. So that's an interesting narrative. I don't know if they want to vote, because if they said, you know, I like this, I can't wait to, where can I sign up for the Republican Party? But that's to be discussed later. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. Don't forget to follow Mrs. L, her YouTube channel at Lynn's Warriors. Her Twitter is at Lynn's Warriors, LYNNS_Warriors. And I'm at Lionel Media. Okay? And until tonight at 7 p.m. Don't forget also, sign up for this. Sign up for my YouTube channel. Sign up. We got more of these coming up. Also, like these videos, but so that you know what's happening, you got to sign up, because these videos, they're beauts. And they're absolutely the most critical stuff for me to let you know. In any event, have a great day. We love you madly because you are so beautiful to me. Can't you see? You are so beautiful to me. Don't forget, my friends, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. I know.